Hello guys, I'm Pickles Parker and today I will be giving you my review of the first half of The Flash Season 4, plus my review of the big Arrowverse crossover, Crisis on Earth X. Enjoy! So yes, The Flash Season 4. So to start this video off, like I did in my Gotham video, I'll just talk about what I thought of the Flash Season 3. I really didn't like this season. Now, The Flash used to be one of my favourite TV programs. Season 1 was definitely really up there. I couldn't wait to watch it each week. It had a compelling villain and a compelling arc, comedy, but with real stakes and serious tones that gelled well, and it was just brilliant. Season 2 was still pretty good. I liked the idea of the parallel Earths, as it was a concept that I enjoyed when they did it in Doctor Who, so I was really intrigued when they were doing it in The Flash, and I really liked that whole idea. Zoom was a bit of a cardboard cow of Reverse Flash, but was still compelling, and I loved his character. And Season 3, yeah, wasn't. And some of it goes down to the formula. The same formula is Barry encounters this evil speedster who's faster than him. He spends the whole season trying to be faster than him, and then finds out that the villain is revealed to be somebody part of the Flash team, and then beats him at the end and has a cliffhanger that's resolved in the first episode of the next season. It's just the formula, and I think Season 3 really reveals that is the formula that they keep on using for every single Flash season. It just got annoying, irritating, left the reveal of Savitar way too long. The villain of the week scenario got really boring. Barry got really unlikable, really soppy. Cisco lost his perfect comedic edge, and while was slightly more likable in the second half of the season, just was a bit of a annoying character because he was nothing like he was in the first two seasons, and was moaning about something which didn't really need to be moaning about after the first episode. Then you had Iris, who was really annoying. Well, she wasn't that annoying actually, sorry, I take that back. I'm getting too into Season 4, but staying with Season 4, I was getting mixed up there. Iris wasn't too annoying. She was more annoying than she had been in Season 1 and 2, but she still wasn't annoying. It was Barry who was the really annoying one in Season 4. No, 3, sorry, God. I really didn't like Barry in Season 3. Just moping around, soppy, and HR was the only character I really liked. I think HR, to start off with, you're like, oh yeah, what's this idiot coming in? He knows nothing, they don't even need him. But once you get HR gets into it, you start to really love him as a character. He's really like comedic presence, and you really feel sorry for him when he dies. And that's one thing I hated about Season 3, is how nobody cared that he died in the finale. It was like, oh yeah, well, Iris isn't dead, so who cares? HR died, for God's sake. And it just really irritated me. The whole season arc irritated me. It got monotonous. Oh yeah, I will save you, Iris. Like, the whole second half of Season 3 was so annoying with this whole saving Iris. It just I just hated it. I absolutely hated it. To go far for me to say that Season 3 of The Flash is on par with Season 4 of Arrow. And that's Season 4 of Arrow. Practically the Olicity season. So yeah, that is just how much I hated Season 3. I'm going to use that word. I don't use that word much hated, it's a very strong word, but I utterly despised The Flash Season 3. I just couldn't watch it. Like, ugh. But now we start Season 4, and it was promising. I wasn't a fan of the whole cliffhanger into the season. I thought it was incredibly weak, but it was resolved alright. I think it's much better than what they did with the cliffhanger last season, because the cliffhanger last season was very good, and Flashpoint in me was utterly wasted. But with this cliffhanger, I didn't think they would use it over a whole season. I think it would only just be wrapped up in that first episode, and it was, I think it was wrapped up in a subsequently good way. I don't think it was wrapped up in a bad way at all. And I just think it was really good how they're trying something new. This went to a more comedic tone, where to start with, I liked The Flash Reborn. The first episode I really liked, and Mixed Signals was also good. I liked the villain. Something new. I liked Luck Be a Lady. The whole how Luck Be a Lady started was really interesting. It didn't start like your usual. It showed Betty's life before she became Hazard, and how bad it was with the Thinker narrating over it. I thought it was a really nice change. It was really intriguing. I liked it how season 3 was so stale. It looked like they were really trying to kind of try new things to try and make it seem better, and I was really intrigued by that idea. And then we get the elongated journey into night, which is a funny episode, and that's where I kind of think it slightly goes downhill. Although I think Ralph Dibny is the best in this episode throughout the whole series, he's still a bit annoying, and this is where the comedic tones really starts to get out of hand. Here, and it really just started to get really comedy based, and it took the comedy element really far. I mean, season 3 there wasn't enough comedy, and I'd say that in the Flash season 4 there's too much comedy, and this is where it really started to show. I think it really started to get stale and annoying by this point, rather than the intriguing new ideas they had for the first 3 episodes. Girls' Night Out, I utterly despise. I almost despise it as much as the musical episode in season 3. That just tells you how much I hate it. With an episode that flat out keeps on going #feminism, just really pissed me off, if I'm gonna be honest. I thought the characters of Cecile, Iris and Felicity were so annoying. Where the hell was Felicity even in here? She's annoying as she is in Arrow. We can't get rid of her. Why is she now here in Flash as well? Just why? Felicity and Iris are really annoying. Iris is so annoying in this series, but I'll just get onto her later. I thought the villain, what's her name? I think her villain name's Blacksmith. I don't know, I think that's what they call her in the TV show. I think they call her by her first name, but I can't remember. So I'll just call her Blacksmith. Yeah, there you go. Was really annoying. Her voice is just so annoying. I thought she was really overacting in this episode, and I thought it was funny with the strip club with Barry and Cisco, Joe and Ralph, but that was just kind of in the background with all these female characters, just annoying, irritating characters, just being at the forefront. The show's The Flash, for God's sake. But I found the strip club element funny, but as an episode it's just irritating and annoying. And maybe that's why I love Justice League. Because everybody says the Justice League's bad. I'm a defender of it, but maybe why I thought it was so good is because before going to see this, I watched Girls' Night Out, and I hated it so much that maybe I was relieved when I went to see Justice League. There you go. Next episode, When Harry Met Harry. Uneventful. Didn't like the Council of Wells. The comedic element was really just here. The Council of Worlds. People seem to think it fits well with the Flash. I don't. Now, I just think that this whole Council of Worlds idea, I didn't find it funny. I found it irritating. All these Wells are just annoying characters, because Harry, Heacher, and Wells are all very similar. Why are these now just so remarkably different? I just didn't get it. I think the comedy felt stale, and when the real thing they're doing is actual vital to the series, you just don't make it a big joke like that. They're trying to go to Season 1 vibe, but Season 1 didn't make big elements like that. They didn't make the Eobard form reveal a joke. Look, why are you doing this, Flash? This isn't how you handle big reveals. How you get to these elements. You don't just completely make them comedic. That's not what you do. So I just found the Council Worlds really annoying, and for what they were doing was integral to the whole arc of the series. I just found, why are you doing this? And I found the villain, people said that it was different. I found the villain really bland. I think if they're doing the whole thing for the Sioux Nation, I think that should have been more of her villain's forefront, where you didn't really get that. You only really got that in a passing line. So I just felt very generic and bland, and that whole Council of Worlds thing just really pisses me off, if I'm honest. I really don't like it. But we move on to Therefore I Am, and I really like this episode. It's my favourite out of the first half of Season 4 so far, and I just think it's really such a good episode where you explore the Thing's origins with some flashbacks to Season 1, which really bring back some nice nostalgia from Season 1. I really like Clifford DeVoe's character, so he's just a teacher. He thinks he needs to be smarter, and it turns out that he's smart, and then he starts to turn into a completely different man to the good, helping, loving man he was. And he just he knows too much, and then you realize that he's gonna lose his legs and he's gonna die, which the disease they got, I'm pretty sure, is a real disease, which was a nice touch. Helps realizes the situation, and you slightly felt sorry for him. Then just what he was doing to Barry, you get the restraint. I just think it's really evil from DeVoe, but then you slightly feel sorry for him learning his origins. I just think it's a really good episode. It's an episode that won't feel out of place in Season 1, and I think this is what The Flash does best, these character pieces of episodes, especially villains, and I think this worked really well, my favourite episode of the season so far. Then we move on to Crisis on Earth X. Now in this case it was part 3, but as I said in my little intro, I am going to be also doing a Crisis on Earth X review within this, as I feel like the storyline of Crisis on Earth X takes more elements from The Flash than any of the other Arrowverse shows. So yes, now I will come back to The Flash Season 4 mid-season review shortly. I'm just going to go on to review of Crisis on Earth X. Now, Crisis on Earth X, the premise I disliked, and by premise I don't mean the whole Nazi stuff. The Nazi stuff I loved, just Baron Iris's wedding. It just feels wrong to have them married not even on The Flash. It's just annoying, all the guests there. Oh yeah, can we just invite everybody from all the shows? They don't have any other friends apart from Super Friends. No, totally not. Joe was at the wedding. Where the hell was he after that? That just really annoys me. I found it annoying. Why is Oliver his best man? Surely Cisco or someone would be his best man. Just irritated me. I love the whole concept of the Nazi stuff of X. I really love that. The one difference is that Hitler won the war. It's a really interesting concept. Although I feel that it's not quite explored enough, I really love the scene where they're trapped in the concentration camps, and you see the whole concentration camps. That is a thing still on Earth X. I really love Quentin Lance's character and his evil doppelganger. Although he only slightly appears for a short time, he is my favourite Earth X doppelganger that they introduced in this crossover. I really love what he said to Sarah about it. He had a similar daughter, obviously referring to his version of Sarah, who had similar sexual preferences to Sarah, and he killed her essentially. And it's really because you thought he was going to like show a heart-to-heart moment about his daughter version of Sarah, and it's just no. And I just think he's really good at playing this part. I think it's really refreshing. From the comedy moments, you get something really quite serious and really quite horrific that we thought we left back in World War and that would never happen again, but on Earth X it is. I think it's a very horrifying concept that the Nazis won the war and this is what would have happened, and I just don't think it's explored enough. I think that concentration scene is my favourite in the whole crossover. I just wish there would have been more of that in here. So the wedding, I obviously skipped forward a bit, but the wedding is obstructed by doppelgangers. Now this weakest element of this crossover by far is doppelgangers. That was introduced in the Flash Season 2, yet we still have doppelgangers. And for one, where's all the other Earth-X version of heroes? I can understand why there wasn't an Earth-X version of Barry, as we've seen a doppelganger version of Barry as the main villain Savitar, so I can understand therefore why we didn't see another one. But where's the one of what the Atom, like where was all the Legends doppelgangers and the characters from Arrow? It just didn't make sense to me. Like I've said, where the hell did Joe go after the wedding? It's his city being threatened. Surely that is what he would want to protect. Oh no, he's just gone. And he's not even present at the wedding. Surely he would be annoyed. His two kids getting married. I'm trying not to make that sound weird, but that is literally what's going on in the Flash. His two kids are getting married to each other. Flash, why incest? Flash, why incest? Really, Flash? But yeah, we get where the hell is Joe? Iris and Felicity are so annoying when they're paired to each other. I don't mind the Earth-X doppelgangers of Oliver and Supergirl. I prefer the doppelganger of Supergirl rather than Oliver. I feel it's a bit generic doppelganger from him. I like the fact that we get the doppelganger of Prometheus and it's Tommy Merlin. I really like this idea of seeing Tommy Merlin back, and Prometheus is someone different. And all the doppelganger heroes we have had, we had a villain in Prometheus who's now a hero. I really liked how that shook up all these elements. I think the amount of characters really irritated me, how they couldn't balance screen time between them all. That was wrong. Where the hell was Ralph? Surely he could have helped. Wally appears at the end of Therefore I Am. Where the hell was he? And annoyed me. And the amount of relationships in this episode was absolutely irritating. Barry and Iris as irritating as ever, having a wedding. Oliver and Felicity had drama, they're just so annoying. Then you had Alex and Sarah in a relationship as well. And then you had Citizen Cold in a relationship with the Grey. I have no problem with this apart from just no more relationships, please. This is my one problem with the CW shows, is that they just have so much relationships, because that's what CW is known for, making romantic programs. So even though these are superhero shows, they still have romantic elements in there. You wouldn't get this in a show like Gotham, but because this is on the CW, you get elements like this, and it just irritated me, just throwing on relationship after relationship after relationship. This crossover just as well been called relationship problems, because that's all it was for me. Plus a few Nazis. I did like how Citizen Cold acted, as he was like the reverse of Captain Cold. And she wore the proper Captain Cold glasses from the comics, not just like the blue shades that our Captain Cold wore in the Arrowverse, like the proper glasses that Captain Cold wears in the comics. And I liked how he was sort of the opposite of Captain Cold, but Citizen Cold, he got on my nerves slightly. I like Russell Tovey as the Ray. I was like, I just seen him now. I'm like, why the hell's Russell Tovey here? It's just, what? Especially as I just rewatched Voyage of the Damned for the Big Blue Box podcast. I was really quite surprised when Russell Tovey just randomly showed up as the Ray. But I thought it was really cool how they replicated his powers on screen. But then that was another hero they had to balance with all the heroes that they really had. And the end battle was fun, but yet too many characters for me personally. Eobard Thawne returned, Harrison Wells version. Now I thought he looked really sinister in parts, although in some parts he didn't. I didn't get how he somehow survived what happened after Legends, why he's helping Earth-X people, why he's wearing Harrison Wells' face again, if he could even wear Harrison Wells' face again. And I think the problem is that he was so fierce in Season 1, but since what all Tom Cavanaugh has been playing is comedic characters in the Arrowverse now, it just sort of devalues the Reverse's Flash when he's wearing Tom Cavanaugh's face. And but there is one scene which I really love, is when he's operating on Kara, and he's like, she's like, my cousin will find you. I'm referring to Superman. He's like, me and your cousin fought in the future. He's fast, but I'm faster. It's a very sinister scene, and that is the Reverse Flash from Season 1 that I know and love. So yeah. So Crisis on Earth-X, it's good. I preferred it to the Dominic crossover we got last year, although I don't think it scratches the surface of the Vandal Savage crossover and the Flash vs Arrow Brave of the Bold crossovers that we got originally. So now going back into my mid-season review of the Flash season 4. So we have Don't Run, the finale, and this was a good episode as well. Now I really like how there's a dilemma of Caitlin or Barry, and I like how the Thinkers abducted him. The Thinker's a brilliant villain, but I'll get onto him when I do my separate character sort of review thing. And his interactions with Barry was really good. I love Caitlin's reactions as she has to do surgery and things. I think Blacksmith is what I'm going to call that. The villain that returned from Girls' Night Out was much more tolerable in this. I kind of liked her in this episode, whereas I didn't like her at all in Girls' Night Out. And I just don't understand why they keep letting all these villains go. That is one thing I like about Arrow, that they kill villains. Oliver will not let anybody go. But Flash just lets everybody go, and so does Caitlin and everybody. Although I really like the twist at the end of the finale, where the Flash is framed for murder, and I'll get onto that later. But going on to characters, Barry, I found him irritating in Season 3. Return to form from him. I think there's competition from him because obviously Justice League came out. I very much like Ezra Miller's Flash in there. And although at the moment I do prefer Ezra Miller's Flash in Justice League to the Flash we have in Season 4, I prefer Grant Gustin in Season 1 as the Flash and possibly Season 2. But I do like Ezra Miller's Flash, and I do prefer him at current time to the version of Barry Allen we've got in the Flash Season 4. Although they've improved on his character from Season 3, and he can be comedic in times, although he can be a bit soppy at times also. Iris, frickin' hell, she annoyed me so much. For once, why is she now knows everything and is the head of the team? Well, I forgot, at the start of Season 1, she's a frickin' reporter! She knows nothing about anything. Like, she could be a background character. Why is she the boss now, ahead of Cisco and Caitlin, who actually knows things? I just wanted her to kill her off at the end of Season 3, because I do not care for her character at all. And for once, she's actually getting to the level of annoying of Felicity. And I actually think that Iris is more annoying than Felicity. Many people may disagree. I'm not saying Felicity gets a free pass. She is really annoying as well, a really unlikable character. But Iris, for me, is more unlikable. I just hate her this season. And that is one of the main downfalls of this season. If there was one big downfall, apart, bigger than the over-comedic, it's Iris. Just kill her off, please. Season 4 finale. Kill her off. Please. The show depends on it. Now, Cisco is back to a good comedic performance with his witty lines, with those sci-fi references that we all know. So he's, after being a bit soppy last season, he's back to a good. I really love what they're doing with Caitlyn, with her half Caitlyn, half Killer Frost persona. And I think that it's really interesting where they're going with her character, her dynamic with the blacksmith, and how that's going on. Harry seems to have sort of taken a jump from character from his season 2 character. He's way more comedic now, whereas in season 2 he was just a big grump. Although I'm glad we're seeing him back, I would have preferred Peacher to live and Iris to die. But I just think his character is inconsistently written like Iris, although he's still a decent character. Now, it's irritating. There are times where he's less irritating, but I just think they need to make him less irritating, more of a character, and actually get him a proper suit, because I hate that suit. What the hell, it just looks like a joke. Thinker is a really good villain, is up there with the Reverse Flash so far. I just think it's really good, not why they're not having a speedster villain. I think that it's good that they're going for something different. I think he's a really good villain, something really different. The fastest brain versus the fastest man alive. I think his backstory is really good, but also his why he's doing it all and how he manipulates Barry. It's a really good thing. I really want to see more of him. Now, before I get on to what I want to see in the second half, let me just go on to an irritating point that I have, which is what the hell is going on with all these Marvel references in The Flash. Yes, we get that one in Girls' Night Out where Caitlyn's describing her Killer Frost persona to Felicity, and she's of course to like the Incredible Hulk. What? So are you telling me that Marvel exists in the Arrowverse? Where does this come from? Out of thin air? And then they keep on using the spidey senses tingling thing. I just don't think it really works with Marvel existing in the Arrowverse, or in DC anyway. I don't really think it works. Really, I prefer if they didn't do it. So that's my mini sort of rant about what the hell is going on with these Marvel references, and let's just get into what I want to see in the second half of season 4. The Trial of the Flash story to exist longer than one episode. Maybe the whole courthouse sections could continue for at least the first episode, but let's have more of him being a fugitive. Let's shake it up, get people to think the Thinker's good and Barry's bad. Let's try and have the Trial of the Flash thing throughout the whole of the season. Maybe not the literal Trial of the Flash, but it's always be a thing in our mind, in the back of our minds, through the whole of this second half of the season. I really hope it's actually good, because we know that they can write some really good storylines in the Flash and reduce them to one episode. Cough, cough! Flashpoint, cough, cough! But, yeah, I hope that works. I hope the Thinker continues to be a really good villain. I hope Iris dies, and I hope you don't have any speedster villains. I know there's rumour that Godspeed was on the Metabus, but I really hope it's not. Although it could have been on the Metabus, and that's the cliffhanger to next season. I just hope that we don't have a speedster villain this season, unless it's pre-existing and not the main villain. And yeah, that's all my hopes for the second half of the Flash season 4. Did I mention I want Iris to die? But yeah, what did you think of this first half of the Flash season 4, and also Crisis on Earth X? Comment below, let me know. Please like this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you want to see more content from my channel, then please hit subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Hello, Gary and Adam. So, Revisits month concludes with The Caves of Androzani, a classic. Now, I've had to review 3 classics I hadn't seen before. A Remembrance of the Daleks, Pyramids of Mars, and now this. I loved Remembrance of the Daleks, but while I still liked Pyramids of Mars, I felt it was a bit overrated and incredibly slow. A good story, but not great. So, A Caves of Androzani, is it a classic? My opinions, it's better than Pyramids of Mars, but I don't think it's great in my opinion. It's a very good story, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's great there. But it's Davison's last adventure, and it's brilliant as his last adventure, and it puts everything that his doctor stands for against him in this episode and puts him right to the test. I love the music in this episode. Shara's Jack is a brilliant villain. I mean, he's a really villainous at first, but then at the end you kind of feel sorry for him, so he's a really good villain. This story has some really dark undertones. Davison's acting, oh my god, Davison's acting is absolutely brilliant. Some of the best acting I've ever seen for a Doctor. So good, he really makes this episode. Oh my god, Davison, so good. This episode has a great atmosphere. The climax is brilliant. And the regeneration scene is really good as well. And obviously, we see Colin change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon. Yeah, it seems not a moment too soon to do my score. 8 out of 10. See you next week.